of Whispers in a Bottle Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. My name is Sonya LaRae, lifestyle counselor, fashion psychologist, and naturopathic wellness practitioner. I have to tell you all, I am so excited to be back in our safe zone to welcome you back in. You know, I did take a leave of absence and I was gone all of last month. So, just to bring you all forward, just in case if you aren't subscribed to our newsletter, which I hope that you are, I had to take a leave of absence because my brother actually was found non responsive in his home and literally was rushed to the hospital. So, in turn, what happened was that they literally had to do a triple bypass. And thank goodness that he's come through this okay and he's in recovery and all. So, Whisperers, before we dive into our discussion, make sure that you hit that subscribe button because if you were subscribed to the newsletter, you would have already known all of this. You would have been caught up and really in the know with what was going on. Because, like I tell you all the time, I'm a little transparent about a little bit of everything that goes on in my life, and especially in our space where we are. So make sure that you subscribe to the Whispers Exchange so you can get all of the tools, the master keys, and join the Whispers Exchange and, really come and engage with the community. Also, just to let you know that I've launched something huge, which is called the 6 at 6, which is really dedicated to C-suite executives, high level performers, you high level entrepreneurs. And it's really leaning into the master keys that we really need in this space and place. So don't forget to make sure that you join me on LinkedIn Live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Podbean has our back. We are back in the studio. We are back here live in our home platform. They have placed a live chat box into each and every one of our episodes. So if you would like to drop your questions, your comments, or if you need your girl to reiterate something, please feel free to drop it into the chat. And you know how I love to monitor a great chat. Only thing we ask is that you please give dignity and respect because, we value everyone's opinion. And that's what makes for such a great show as well. So, I love to start all of our discussions off with a clear meaning or definition. And this is no different. So, let's get back into the groove of things. So, we're going to get the meaning or the understanding of unmask. So, unmask means to expose the true character or hidden truth. Woo! Let me give it to you again. Unmask means to expose the true character or hidden truth. Whispers, let's start with an honest question. And I think we have to really open this up and really look at things differently as we walk into this discussion of unmasking distractions, digital overload. When was the last time you did one thing without reaching for your phone? When was the last time you did that? No multitasking, no scrolling, no checking notifications, just you being in the space and place. When was the last time that you did that? For many people, that moment feels distant. It feels like it just never happens. Not because they are weak, not because they lack discipline, but because we are living inside a system designed to keep us distracted. Now, I don't know how many of you all realize that, but yes, we are set up in a world, in a time, in a space that wants to keep us distracted. So today's discussion is not about, demonizing technology. I want you to really understand that first and foremost, because that's not what this is for. That's not what I'm about to lean into. And we're not going to go into that space and place because technology isn't the enemy. The problem is the unconscious use. We doomsday scroll for hours. Some of you all are guilty of it, of like, you know what? You sit there and you scroll through, what's on your timeline in Instagram, TikTok, what is it, Facebook and X and all these other apps, you know. But the problem is living in reaction instead of intention. And so we know that if we live in intention, That means that we have aim, purpose, and direction. You know, I speak about it all the time. And some may say, that's your soapbox, Sonia. And I'll be like, okay, well, I'm guilty. But see, digital overload doesn't steal your life all at once. It steals it quietly, quietly. You know, it's like that sneaky episodes that come in. So, minute by minute, moment by moment, it steals your ability to think deeply. Minute by minute, moment by moment. That means in each second of our day, it's trickling in, but it steals your capacity to rest fully. It steals your presence with the people you love. And eventually, it steals your sense of self. Now, let me just tell you, I actually had went to an event, and it was a beautiful event, and it's just so breathtaking. Everything was decorated so beautifully. And of course, you want to capture some things because it is so memorable and you want to be present, but you also want to capture it so you can remember it, look at it later or whatever. Sometimes even to repost it. If that's what you're doing, is reposting certain things, you want certain elements. But this was the thing. I was standing there and I was just so taken back by how real the flowers look. I thought they were real. And I was like, oh my goodness, they weren't. And they were just so breathtaking. And I was speaking to the gentleman on the side of me who never picked his eyes up off of his phone to even see what I was speaking about. And I said, oh my goodness, this is incredible. And he goes, yeah, right. And then as he stood there, he said, well, what were you talking about? What exact? Because it was minute by minute, moment by moment that he was distracted. Unmasking distraction, digital overload. So, Whispers, distractions is no longer just an interruption, it has become a lifestyle. And today we're going to unmask it all. So, I hope you're ready. I hope you got your featured mocktail of the hour and you're sipping on it, or you're just kicked back with your headphones just listening to me. It's great. You know, we need to understand digital overload first and foremost. And digital overload happens when your brain is constantly processing more information than it was ever designed to handle. And your nervous system doesn't know the difference between the emergency alert and a group chat notification. And that's just putting it cut and dry. But to your body, everything demands attention. Each ping, each buzz, each scroll. And over time, your brain stays in a low grade stress response. Now, some of you all may not even be aware of that or didn't even know that, but it's a fact. And you may not feel, panicked, but you feel restless or you feel angst inside of you. You are like a weird, but you're like worried, but kind of like in a weird, but tired kind of way. I think that's a great way for me to put it. And busy, but unfulfilled. How many times have you had that feeling or emotion? Or you've had that present kind of nagging effect on you? See, this leads to shortened attention spans. And now we can see that even with our young people. That's why they're trying to remove phones from out of the schools. That's why they're trying to have parents to really regulate the screen times that their young people are on. It causes chronic mental fatigue. It causes emotional numbness and even difficulty being present. Now, being present is something that we all need to be and aware of, because every circumstance, every situation requires of us to be present in the moment. You're not failing at life. So let me just put that out there. Your brain is simply overwhelmed, and the cost is very high. It's just overwhelmed and the cost is just costing you. If this was literally your bank account right now, you would have an overdraft. That's how digital overload is. You would be overdrafted because when your attention is fragmented, your life becomes like fragmented too. But you know what will pull all this together for us? Our master keys. Now, we've been gone for a little bit, and I know that you all have missed getting your master keys. So let's get our keychains out. Hopefully, they're not far away from you. Hopefully, you haven't thrown them off to the side or you have let them collect dust or anything. Because these keys are powerful because they allow us to open up the hallways, the corridors, the secret compartments of our heart and mind. But these keys also work in another powerful way. They allow us to shut off the inner and outer noise that keep us from stepping in, stepping over, or doing that introspective work, or allowing us to unmask what is really distracting us. So let's get into our first master key. The first master key is tech boundaries. Now, this is a space and place that I know a lot of people kind of have a struggle in. But so I want us to get practical, though. I want us to get very practical. See, tech boundaries are not rules meant to be a punishment to you. They are agreements you make with yourself to protect your energy, your focus, your peace. And a boundary answers specific questions. Oh, you didn't think I came in here just to relax on our new episode coming in on episode 3 here, huh? You know I came in with fire. So literally, the questions that we have to be willing to ask is, who is in control? You or your device? Who is in control, me or my device? So, armed with those two powerful questions, it makes us think, why boundaries even matter? See, because without boundaries, whispers, technology dictates when you wake up, how you feel in the morning, how long you work, how deeply you rest, when your day actually ends. This is not freedom. That is not freedom. That's being put into oppression. This is reactivity at its highest. So I want to give you a few tech boundaries that I give to my clients that actually work. So I always put things into a test pilot in everything that I do. I even test it on myself prior to giving it over to others. So these are things that I implemented as well now as my clients implement. So the first one is create like bookends for your day meeting. So no phone for the first 30 minutes after waking. No phone for the last 60 minutes before sleeping. And these two windows alone can dramatically calm your nervous system down. So we're setting clear boundaries. We're creating like bookends, you know how bookends are. They hold your books up. One is on this side, on the left side, one is on the right side. The books go in the middle and they keep them in a nice form so they don't fall over. So it's the same thing that we're doing with our boundaries. No phones for the first 30 minutes. That allows us to really wake up and get that rhythm put in. It's just like when we're working on our circadian rhythm to go to sleep. See, having that 60 minutes before you go to sleep allow you to actually start to set the circadian rhythm, to start moving you into it, to start helping you to have a healthy diet of sleep. Most people don't realize that sleeping is like a necessary diet for us. And now many of you high performers are not getting enough sleep. Some of you think that you can function at the high level that you're at least 4 hours of sleep. You actually need 6 to 8 hours of sleep. So your mind, your body can reset and you get to go into that REM sleep. And many of you are not doing that. So it also leads into our second boundary. You have to turn off non-essential notifications. Uh-oh. Yes, I said it. If it isn't urgent or life-threatening or life-giving, it doesn't need instant access to you. So that means that you have to be willing to honor this so it teaches others how to honor your boundaries. So, one boundary that you may want to implement, and I have this with all of my clients and even for ourselves, that we have no phones at the dining room table. There's no phones at the dining room table because we want to engage with each other. We want to be present and we want to be in that moment enjoying the meal. What are we tasting? What are we having? What are we discussing even? It allows us to show up in a present form for those that we say are very important to us. Those that we say mean everything to us. We start showing up even better in that space and place because we turned off non-essential notifications. Who cares that this song has charted? Or who cares that this celebrity has been pulled over at a traffic stop? Or who cares that, the stock market is doing this, that, and the other when it's time to be in a space and place of that fulfillment with family? Or a time and a space to nurture your soul. Non-essential notifications to be silenced. So it also leads into a third boundary. That means that we are going to designate phone-free spaces. Oh, I know that's like, wow. I have clients that really struggle with this situation or that boundary. That means your bed, your dinner table, the bathroom. You have to be willing to draw a clear line that will not be overstepped. And at first, it may be challenging to you. It can even be like a little, make you nervous, even. It can make you a little nervous because this is something new that you're adding like the upheaval to your system. I'm having my meal with you, not your, oh, yes, having a meal. Exactly. I love that. Like I said, this is interactive. Get into that chat box. See, Whispers, boundaries do not remove technology, they restore balance. And that's something that we have to be willing to understand. But it also takes us and leads us into our second master key, which means that we have to be willing to have that conscious consumption. Conscious consumption. So, Whispers, here's the truth many avoid. Not everything you consume deserves your attention. Now, put that on rotation, put it on repeat, whatever you need to do, but not everything you consume deserves your attention. Not everything you consumes even requires your time nor your energy. See, conscious consumption means choosing what you allow into your mind, what you allow to evoke emotion, and what you allow your nervous system to engage with. Now, those are big areas. So, why does this matter for us? See, it matters because your brain absorbs content the same way your body absorbs food. Now, isn't that something? Yep, that's a fact. And what you consume consistently shapes how you think, how you feel, and even how you show up. So, if you consistently consume chaos, conflict, comparisons, negativity, your inner world becomes noisy and unsettled, just like what you're consuming. It's much like only eating processed foods and your body is filled with, carcinogens that slowly but surely going to have a detrimental effect on your body. Slowly but surely are going to kill you. It's the same thing. It has a different effect. It slowly kills the creativity. It slowly kills the ability to connect in the moment. It slowly kills the connection that we have with people. Do you realize that people are so attached to their phones that they've even forgotten how to communicate with people in real life? Or as the young people say, IRL? They don't even know that, they speak in like code. They don't realize that you can't go and you have, IRL. Oh, this is IRL. And somebody's like, well, what is that in real life? They don't even know how to communicate that now. And that's what this is helping us to see, that what we're placing inside of our brain is having that digital blueprint set in that is overloading us. So for us to change this, it would mean that we would have to practice conscious consumption. So what is that? What does that look like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? What is the recipe for it? So here's the recipe. You have to audit your digital diet. Okay, see, so this is the first part of the recipe. We have to audit our digital diet. So that means that we have to ask ourselves, does this inspire me? Does this educate me? Does this leave me grounded or drained? Notice, does it, does it, does this. It is a constant question that allows us to put in the auditory responses that we need. If it drains you, unfollow, mute, or limit that consumption. The second part of that recipe is be intentional with scrolling. Scrolling without purpose numbs the mind. It does. It numbs the mind. And scrolling with intention informs the mind. So let me tell you, I don't have a lot of time to scroll, honestly, and sometimes I hate for others to send me things because it curates my feed, and I'm curating my feed intentionally. So sometimes when people send me things, I'm like, oh no, because it changes the way that I want my feed to be. So I only follow certain accounts that align with my purpose or even motivate me to show up bigger and better. I only align myself with people that are on having purpose, direction, they have aim. So this way, my timeline is not being polluted. Sometimes I even mute, and others I just cannot because they don't align and don't feed my education, my inspiration, my motivation. It doesn't evoke joy from me. It doesn't align with my core values. So I'm intentional with my scrolling. Now, I'll make you all laugh too, because in my scrolling, I'm very intentional. Now, I have several shows. So with regards to my show, this show Whispers in a Bottle, right? I have my Instagram page. Now it's the funniest thing that if you go to my For Me, like the different things that are populated in the back end, you will notice that there are certain chefs that I follow from Whispers in a Bottle. They have actually cooking podcast. And you're thinking to yourself, well, how does that align with what Whispers in a Bottle is about? Because I'm in naturopathic wellness. And everything is about feeding the soul, feeding our mind and our heart. But it also means that we have to have a healthy diet. So, see, I'm not scrolling aimlessly, it's with intention, it's with purpose, aim, and focus. But see, in that recipe, it also brings in that I have to replace the passive consumption with active choices. So that means that I want to read something meaningful, listen to conversations that expand your mind, follow accounts that align with your core values that stimulate you to show up better and do better, show up bigger and better, engage with content that aligns with you. Well, it doesn't even have to align with you, but it has to maybe even give you some boundary of where you would like to go. or how you would like to see yourself. Maybe it motivates you to show up in a better way, even. You do not have to consume everything available to you. That's first and foremost. You do not have to consume everything available to you. You get to choose. See, that's power right there. Whispers, that is real power. That is really being able to unmask distractions and to really understand the digital overload, what is happening to you, because now you are in the driver's seat and allowing yourself to make the conscious choices. Ooh, I tell you, sometimes when I say certain things, it makes me excited because I love being able to make choices, to choose what I will have infiltrate me or to nourish me or to really build me up, to help me to show up and be better in different ways. You know, I always say that when we're looking at it from a standpoint of unmasking distractions when it comes to digital, we have to be careful that we are not becoming addicted to the digital. You know, many a times when we speak in this space and place, we don't bring in to the frontal cortex of our mind how much of a joy base this can be, because it's just like with any addiction, it stimulates a certain part of the brain that is a part of addiction, and it resonates in there and it makes that endorphin, and it's that uptake that happens. So in turn, we have to calculate how we are going to be sobering up so we can start to not be so overloaded. But with that being said, Whisperers, that means that I have to give you a third and final master key, though. And that third master key is moments of presence. Now, this happens to be an area that I truly love. See, presence is not something you find, it actually is something you practice. And see, so many times people think, well, I have to, no, it's a practice. It's a practice. So when we practice something, we start to really understand what it cultivates, what it needs, and how to nurture it correctly. Presence is the ability to be fully here without reaching for distractions, being in the here and the now and fully enjoying the moment. I always think about it like this. So I told you all, growing up, I was on a swim team. And truly, I love to swim. I love to swim to this day. I don't think once you get it in your soul and once it's there, is you are hooked. But the one thing I have to tell you is most people don't realize how much practice goes in to swimming. How much practice you have to do even to have the breathing capacity and holding your breath correctly, how much practice you must have to really be able to ride on top of the water. It is practice day after day, moment after moment, hour after hour, summertime, wintertime, spring, fall. It is all year round till you go to competition and you ride that water, you make the pin turns, and you win the medal because of practice. Practice. That's how powerful this is, Whisperers. We have to be willing to sit in a space and place in a moment of presence, because presence isn't something that you find, it's something we practice. So I want to tell you why presence feels uncomfortable at first. Because see, I think a lot of people just say this to you, but then you don't realize they don't even, no, no, I'm not that person. I'm gonna open up all the curtains. I'm gonna peel back all the layers for you. So let me tell you why. See, when the noise stops, right? Um, Feeling like the surface, thoughts start to emerge. Literally, they start to bubble up. And emotions ask to be felt. Literally, they want to be felt. They want to be acknowledged. And this is why distraction is so tempting because it keeps us from ourselves. But see, where presence is where life actually happens. That's where it's happening. You could say that this was like the best VIP room is where presence is. That's where the bottles are popping. So we want to simply, or a simple way in our daily diet that will help us to create that presence daily, correct? So let's say that I'm going to give you a new diet to follow. So I got to give you key elements in the diet that you need so you'll be successful at it. So the first part of the diet will require that one mindful pause an hour. One mindful pause an hour. That means that you get to take one deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, and notice where you are. Being in the moment. Where am I currently? What am I feeling right now? What is it that I need to let go of? How does my body feel? How does my mind feel? What am I nurturing my soul with? This allows you to reset your nervous system naturally and not send it into shock or overload. Now, that's a beautiful space and place. So the other parts of the diet have to be that um you can even like sign focus rituals even. You know, I like to say that my focus ritual is like I like to drink my coffee without scrolling, without my phone, without my laptop. I love to enjoy my coffee, to have that moment to decompress, to have that moment of really just allowing myself to sit and be nurtured in a space and place for self. It may mean that you want to walk without your headphones on or walk without your phone in your hand and looking down at it, but really taking notice of the beautiful scene around you or even the different people. You know, when I go downtown, I love to go downtown and I love to walk in the city because you see such great sights. And I love to go down there like in the fall and just in the spring coming into like that where it's not too hot, because the city downtown, oh my goodness. But the thing is when you go down there, and I always take my camera with me because I always seem to capture someone that is just uniquely themselves. But if I was distracted, I would not see it. I would not be in the moment or to be in the presence of them. And I've met some dynamic people. I have truly met some dynamic people. And the one biggest part of this is eat without your screen. Eat and put your phone in your bag or in your pocket. Don't even acknowledge it when it buzzes. So this way you can start to enjoy your food. You can acknowledge when your body says, actually, I'm full. But see, because you're so used to being distracted, you don't even realize you're full. And then once you stop eating, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm stuffed. Oh, you feel miserable. But that's because you have been distracted. You've not sat there and looked at your food or enjoyed it or even smelled all the goodness that they've placed in that plate. See, small moments compound into clarity in places you are now in the now. That's how powerful that is. And the other part of it is that for the diet, you have to be willing to name what is real. Name what is real. Ask yourself introspective questions like, what am I feeling right now? What do I need in this moment? Whispers, see, presence reconnects you to yourself and to the things you say are actually more important, more valuable. worth your time. You see where I'm going with that? So you have the diet now. One mindful pause in an hour, signing focus rituals, naming what is real. Whispers, I'm so glad to be back in our safe zone together. And I always feel like I'm always right at this point here that I can't believe like our time goes so fast by us. But you realize that you've had a full bounty that we've just leaned into. We unmask distractions with the digital overload. You have three powerful master keys, and you receive alternate things inside of those master keys to build upon. So, do you have your keychains handy? Are you throwing them in the bottom of your pocketbook, throwing them in your trunk, throwing them in your gym bag, but you can't find them? Go get them. You need them. They're an asset to you. So, especially when we are peering into such impactful and dynamic topics like this. So, let me just say if this episode helped you, I want you to pause right now and hit the subscribe button and share this with one friend who may need this. Because you realize iron sharpens iron. And some topics that we hear we need to share with someone else that is in our immediate circle. Because, see, that's what this is about as well. That's what we are coming into. And if you want more great tools, I encourage you to please subscribe to the Whispers Exchange. There's always a link in each and every one of the description boxes. You can always DM us over on Instagram at whispersinabottle_podcast. You can connect with me. You can connect with my publicist. I'm telling you, my team is top notch. Now, let me just tell you, you notice that I always told you I curate things in a certain way. This is the same thing, the digital overload. I don't have that because I have a great team because they filter into me such dynamic energy. Whispers, I love helping people one-on-one. It's been my passion. It's been my pleasure. And I think even as I walk through this life and I'm going through certain things and building new things, like I said, we have a new show that we're just started producing, which is called The 6 at 6. And it's every Tuesday night on LinkedIn Live. I'm telling you, come on in. You're going to love it. It's really building and giving you the resources that you need. And even this week on the show is about the executive emotional regulation. There's a free uh, pamphlet. There's a workbook that is going to be given out as well. Welcome in, Aura. Nice to have you here with us today. We have new people that are coming into our community, so it's wonderful to have everyone. Don't forget that, you can always work with me one-on-one. There's always a link in our description box to my calendar because, as a luxury lifestyle architect, I help you curate the life you want and that you are really meant to live. And so many times there's that constant friction of professional and personal, but it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be harmonized. So I look forward to connecting with you with that. And we'd like to thank Toast Non-Alcoholic Sparkling Beverages for collaborating with Whispers in a Bottle and being featured in our fabulous episode, The Velvet Bar. And that's in the Whisper Exchange and giving our fabulous community 10% off their total purchases. So if you have not subscribed to the Whispers Exchange, make sure you do because that is given out to all of our community. That discount is extended to them. So like to book me for a guest on your podcast or have me as a guest speaker at your event or an MC, please feel free to reach out to my fabulous publicist. His name is Trey. He is incredible. You can reach him at treytheglue@gmail.com. That's treytheglue@gmail.com. I'm telling you, lean in. It's an awesome place to be. And so, in closing, let me just say this. Distraction is not, it's not your fault. I really want to be honest about that. It's not your fault. But awareness is your responsibility, though. And your attention is your most valuable currency. It's the ROI of your life. And where you place it shapes your health, your relationships, your creativity, even your peace. So when you literally unmask distractions, you get to reclaim your time, your energy, your focus, but most importantly, Whispers, you get to reclaim YOU. You do not need to disconnect from the world. You need to reconnect to your life. Start small. I would say start small, be consistent, and choose presence over pressure because your life is happening now. So don't scroll past it. So, with that being said, everyone, you have been listening to Whispers in a Bottle, Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays, a clear voice amongst the noise. Join me next week right here on our home platform of Podbean. So good to be back, everyone. We're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. My name is Sonya LaRae. I'm a lifestyle counselor, fashion psychologist, and naturopathic wellness practitioner. But I'm always honored to say that I am your host, and it's so good to be back in our safe zone. All right, guys, have a beautiful weekend. I look forward to us connecting again. Talk to you soon.